Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the October 31st Halloween edition of Pro Wrestling Throwdown in the year of our Lord, 2020. I'm Caleb Black.
Lord year
Luke, the Big Dog Williams, the Mighty Max Fury, our in-studio producer, and as reported in the news, Tracy Smothers, the wild-eyed Southern boy, lost his battle with cancer this week and has left us for the great big wrestling ring in the sky. And we wanted to take a minute to, we were going to do the deep dive this week on Josh Alexander, but given the circumstances, we wanted to make sure that we appropriated enough time to properly honor Tracy Smothers. Don't worry, Josh Alexander's video is coming next week for all of our egomaniacs out there and fellow lovers of the North. But right now, we're going to talk about Tracy Smothers.
Tracy Smothers, for older generation fans, is mostly known for the tag team, the Wild Eye Southern Boys.
Yeah.
The NWA United States Tag Team Championships were synonymous with Tracy Smothers.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, a lot more fans as you get more towards the late 80s, early 90s, knew Tracy Smothers as like Freddie Floyd.
Yeah.
Or a member of the Full-Blooded Italians, which still makes me giggle. Yeah. With that dance that he used to do. I mean, what can Smoky Mountain?
Smoky Mountain, that's our say.
Synonymous with Smoky Mountain. What can't you say about Tracy Smothers?
Tracy Smothers was one of the last real journeymen left.
Yes.
We're talking about the journeymen of the territory days, the guys who went everywhere and wrestled day in and day out and gave a lot to the business. Tracy Smothers is one among the very few that are really left and still contributing to the business in some facet. And that's more what Tracy was not only known for, but so exceptional at. Tracy Smothers, on the independent wrestling scene, always took time to give his advice, always took time to have a good time, was never a jaded wrestling veteran. Had his moments of you know, not liking things or having heat with this guy, or, you know, obviously it's going to happen, but would never not sit down and talk with you if you had questions, and would also offer you advice and was so cordial and so kind. I remember, this is a personal experience, wrestling KCW. God, this would have been 2012, maybe. 2012, 2013, when I was working down there. And he was booked on a show with us. And it was me and one of my tag partners. It was either, I don't remember which, because I was in like 3 or 4 tag teams at that time. It was with Steel and Wolf and Rose. And actually, I wasn't Rose until later. Doesn't matter. We're in a tag match, and we're wrestling these 2 flippy kids. And everybody knows I don't do flippy shit. I do kicks. And the other guy, he wrestled the same way, and that's why they paired us together there. And so the flippy guys are calling all this shit, and basically, we were like, man, get your shit in. We don't care. We'll take whatever. You guys do whatever. We're just going to slow you down with kicks and punches and slams. You know, do your shit. We don't give a fuck. Get all the flippy shit you can do it. And somebody in the back had said something about, like, you know, something about them being spot monkeys or something. But Tracy was like, you know, it's not about what you do in the ring. It's about how the people are going to leave feeling good about the match. And that's all that mattered.
Right.
And after the match, that's exactly what he said to us, because, you know, the match went well. We had a very good match. We wrestled for 10 minutes. These kids fucking hit every flippy move they could hit. We cut them off with the kicks and the punches and the slams, and we ended up winning with a fucking heel schoolboy, and out the door we went. And we got to the back, and Tracy was like, that was a really good match. He was like, you know, despite what people are going to say, what happens in the ring only happens because of the way what happens in the ring is only remembered by the way the fans react to it.
Correct.
And he was like, you know, it doesn't matter. You can go out there and kill yourself for 10 minutes. If the fans don't give a shit, the fans don't give a shit. But they gave a shit, so it was okay. And it was just like him taking the time to, because he did give us some pointers on where to put certain things so the match was better. You know, so that we didn't all go out there and kill ourselves for nothing. But it was just like his philosophies in wrestling was, if it made the fans happy, it's how the fans feel about what you did. It's not about you going out there and marking for yourself. It's about the impressions you leave.
Right. And
I always took that with me. And he didn't have to take the time to sit down with us, but he did.
Well, and the thing with Tracy is that he come up in the business in a time where people were afraid to lose their spot.
Yeah.
That they sacrificed the younger up-and-coming talent to better grasp more money, longevity. And Tracy Smothers was none of those things.
No.
There's several pictures on Twitter that were shared, which, by the way, the outpouring crazy stories of Tracy Smothers and stuff on Twitter and Facebook just in the past couple days makes you feel good. He would love that.
Yeah.
And no one would die. Unless you boot him, then everybody
dies. Then everybody dies.
But there's pictures of him sitting just in a chair watching the monitor from the back at indie shows because he never how do I put this? He never soured on the business.
No.
Like, he enjoyed every aspect of the business.
And he absolutely loved lending his experience to the guys who were doing the job.
It was like the learning tree.
Like
you listen.
And he would watch every match.
Yeah.
Every match. And you look now, you can find it on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Every single independent wrestler who's ever been in the locker room, even one time with Tracy Smothers, has a story about that one
12
time.
stories.
About how zany he was, about how personable he was, about how appreciative he was.
Speaking of that, Bull Bronson shared a thing on Facebook. I'm trying to remember how he put it. He said him and Tracy were talking. He's like, those guys that went out before us did all of our shit before us, so we're just going to go out there and beat the fuck out of each other. That is the greatest thing. It's like, yeah, well, they did it, so let's just go out and punch each other.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Also, if you've never seen a Tracy Smothers promo live.
Oh, man.
You missed out.
You want to talk about a heat magnet.
Oh, my God. And the funny part is, he's telling these people, you suck.
Yeah.
I'm going to come out there and I'm going to slap you. Everybody dies.
Right.
And the whole time he's doing it in such a way, he's trying not to break.
Yeah.
Because the crowd's just like, tell him everybody dies, Tracy. You know, he was one of those guys you loved when he come out and basically told you were trash.
One of my favorite moments was we were wrestling somewhere, and one of the guys on the card had just come off of doing a van tour with Tracy, in the car with Tracy for 2.5 months or whatever. And we're all in the back telling these stories about Tracy Smothers' various experiences. And somebody that wasn't in the conversation walked up, and then that guy had to go have his match. Well, as they're in the ring wrestling, I think it was Chick Canyon did something, and he fucks the guy off and looks out, I hate everybody! And immediately the person who wasn't even talking was like, oh, he's been with Tracy.
Right? Right?
And it's just like you can see where he gives you those little elements, and you pick up on it. And those old tricks and those old tropes never not work. It's how you deliver them. And Tracy Smothers was the king of delivering. Everybody dies. You all suck, and I hate you. And just fantastic.
If y'all don't, and the best part was watching him getting in the ring with somebody. We seen this personally in Heron, Illinois, back in 2005. Tracy Smothers wrestling Billy Gunn.
Oh yeah.
Okay? And Smothers is in the ring, and they're cheering Smothers. And he's like, if you cheer me one more time and don't cheer Billy Gunn, I'm going to come out there and everybody. It's like, it's the greatest thing, because if you were the face and you weren't getting over with the crowd, Tracy would make you get over with the crowd.
Right away.
It's like, if you chant Tracy Smothers rules one more time, I'm going to come out there and I'm going to slap everyone.
And the whole time they're chanting for him, but it's just...
And it's funny because Billy Gunn's standing in the corner of the ring,
just losing his shit, yeah.
And Tracy Smothers, everybody dies, trying not to laugh, out loud. It was fantastic. Also, it would be remorse not to give our condolences to Jesse Bell.
Yeah. Everybody's family. Obviously.
People, it sucks when you lose someone. It really, really sucks when you lose your father.
Yeah.
Our hearts go out to Jesse Bell. Her father was a brilliant man, and was loved by everyone.
Yeah.
Anyone who Tracy ever touched in the ring or spoke to in the back or just in passing, loves and respects Tracy Smothers.
Yeah. He's one of the last gatekeepers that wanted the business to be right.
There's not many left.
And I remember when I first started, there was a short period of time where I got to work at Harley Race's training school. And Tracy would come in sometimes and just kind of talk to us or whatever. And Harley Race was really, really hard on us sometimes. And Tracy would just remind us that there was a reason we were doing it. And if it hadn't been for stuff like that, man, a lot of guys would have been out of the business a lot sooner. And a lot of guys would have ended up really hating the business. And because of Tracy Smothers, I'm one of the guys who can say that I didn't end up hating the business.
Right.
And not just me. Dozens, hundreds. And we're talking indie wrestlers in every fucking town that has ever been on the show with them. Maybe guys who wrestled one match their entire career. If they were in a locker room with Tracy Smothers, they learned something.
Well, here's the deal. If you were in a locker room with Tracy Smothers, even if you were in there once in your entire life and you were just going back to get a piece of pizza or a drink or something from somebody you knew, you got 12 Tracy stories. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, man.
You have 12 different stories you could tell. I have a bunch. I'm not going to. Some of those, some of these stories, I like to just keep here.
Yeah.
They're for me, personally. But again, he was one of a kind.
Yeah.
You don't see that kind of stuff the way that he took care of the younger guys.
Yeah.
The way that he promoted the younger guys. And that could be done more.
And one of the few guys, him and not really though, because you think about it, a lot of the journeymen who are left, guys like him, guys like Ricky Morton, a lot of those guys do lend their experience.
Yes.
And it's so cool to say that you got a chance to sit underneath Tracy Smothers and listen to him talk.
Ramble.
On and on. Again, our condolences to not only his family, but the entire wrestling community. Obviously, he had dozens of proteges, dozens of people he worked with so closely and so directly.
And the crazy part was 6 months ago, during his battle with lymphoma, the man was taking bumps as early as 5-6 months ago.
You want to talk about a tough motherfucker?
You know what I mean? Like, everyone knew that Tracy was sick.
Yeah.
He didn't keep that a secret from anyone. But when he passed, it still kind of come as a shock because you expected Tracy to beat it.
Yeah.
You expected it. And when it happened, as much as we all had that feeling in the back of our minds, it's still a giant blow. I mean, you know what I mean? The man was bumping 5 months ago.
Wrestling lost one of the greats.
Yes.
This time around. Our condolences, our love, our admiration, our respect to Tracy Smothers.
Get on Facebook and send Jessie Bell your condolences.
Yeah.
She could really use the uplift right now.
If you have stories you want to share, you know what to do. Send us an email at prowrestlingthrowdown@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/prowrestlingthrowdown. Like, subscribe, leave us comments down below. Find us on Twitter at prowrestlingtd. And one more time, for Tracy Smothers, everybody dies!